Hey everybody, and welcome back to our channel. Um, Today we're going to be doing chapter 2, the chapter 2 questions from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and hopefully you enjoy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And comment.
And comment. So I mean, we can know how y'all can y'all relate? Like that's what we want to know, if y'all can relate or whatever the case is. But yeah. So here we go.
Okay, so question 1 is, when did your financial education begin? Was it with this book or from another source?
Oh, okay. So my financial education began probably about, I want to say like 2.5, 3 years ago. But on a serious level, it's been like the better part of this year and maybe the end of last year. So maybe almost a year now on a serious note. But I mean, I think I've always tried to figure out ways to learn more about finances.
Okay, mine's, you think back throughout your life, and you get bits and pieces, but you're not ready. So I'm going to say, even though there's a lot in this book that I knew already, they were just never encouraged to implement, or I wasn't motivated, or whatever the case is. Let's say it started with this book. Okay. How did you react when you first read Robert's definition of assets and liabilities? I think for me, growing up, you hear people say, make sure you buy a house. Your house is an asset. And then you later find out that your house is not an asset, it's a liability. You have to think about all the work you have to put into a house, and they say, a house blooper. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that, y'all.
Question number 2. How did you react when he stated that a home... Oops. I'm lost. Okay, here we go. Okay, so, they tell people, and people don't listen anyway, that buying a home is just glorified renting. So unless you buy your house straight out, or you don't take the amount of time, 25, 30 years, 15, 20 years, to pay your house off, then you're just renting it anyway. Because 9 times out of 10, you're never going to own the house you buy.
Right.
The way this society is, right? Okay. Do you have an answer for that question? Or did you want to answer the next question?
I can answer that question. How
Okay.
So since I've done like a lot more studying, I wasn't too surprised. Simply because I've had people tell me over the years that like buying a house isn't all it's cracked up to be. Like, even though I kind of wasn't in agreement at first, I started to see why. that shouldn't be like the main focus.
Right. I mean, when it's explained to you, then you're like, that makes so much sense, right? So the goal is, if you can, at all possible, you get properties, you get assets, you acquire properties that you can rent out, and properties that you can use as Airbnbs, properties that you can sell, you know. So yeah.
And then just to add on to that, it kind of like hearing about assets and liabilities, like you start to think about everything, like literally everything, that like down to the people
Right.
that you talk to. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of becomes a situation where I've kind of gotten a little anal, I guess you could say, about that, because but when I meet new people or whatever, just depending on the situation and circumstances, like I automatically am processing in my head, is this person an asset or a liability? And you know what I'm saying, trying to figure out, you know, if I continue talking to this person, it doesn't even like friendship, relationship, all that.
How's it going to add to me?
Right.
And I mean, when you use that scenario in every aspect of your life, you tend to, I mean, things change, right?
Drastically.
Things change. So if you're not adding to me, you're taking from me, right? How did you react when he stated that a home is not an asset? Had you viewed yours as one? After he fully laid out his argument, did he change your mind? Well, we just touched on that.
Right.
Right. Which cash flow situation looks most like your life? Well, at this point, it don't matter, because I'm rich. So, you know, it's that whole mindset thing. What about you?
Which one looks more like my life? I'd have to say that, given the circumstances and given the whole me taking the time to like work on my mindset, I'm actually taking more time to, you know, process, okay, I have this much coming in and I have that much going out. However, when it comes to like the whole breakdown of all that, it's like, okay, whatever I send out at this point, as far as fiat, as far as, you know what I'm saying, what's considered money, me having stuff go out now, I'm saying, what can I bring in from what I put out? So right. It's like everything has to be circulating, like it has to be circulating back around. So if I'm just putting something out, like, of course, yeah, I still like to enjoy certain things, but I'm getting better with the discipline and getting better with eliminating liabilities. Right. Like all around, I'm getting better at sacrificing. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I want to try this new nail color or whatever the case may be. So my life isn't really either or, but it's on the way to more assets. Right. Right.
All right. Well, that's 4. You want to go do more?
Yeah, we could do one more just because we've been interrupted a lot tonight.
Okay, other than your home, is there something that you thought was an asset that later revealed itself as a liability? No, but you look over your life and you realize that whether or not you've had more assets or more liabilities coming through your life. You know, and that's not just material things, that's people. And you know, you just take a mental note of the things going on in your life.
For me, it would be First of all, I have to get the question back fully how it's supposed to be in my head. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, there's a lot of things that I consider to be assets, and they turned out to be liabilities. However, I've also learned that having liabilities is not a complete bad thing. You just don't want to have more liabilities than assets.
Right.
Working, being an entrepreneur, and, you know what I'm saying, being a stay-at-home mother, as well as a, you know what I'm saying, I guess you could say teacher, at this point, I have thought about, you know, losing our vehicle to get around. However, after thinking about it, it was a liability, simply because we were putting more out on it than we were getting back from it. You know what I'm saying? And so that really was the drive behind getting to know more, or getting, I won't even say getting to know more, but getting more serious about being financially educated.
Right. I agree.
All right. So that was questions 1 through 7. 1 through 6.
1 through 5.
1 through 5? That was questions 1 through 5.
From the second chapter.
From the second chapter. And we're going to go ahead and catch y'all in the next one. So if you watched it all the way through, thank you for your support. Don't forget to let us know, like, what resonates with you. Like, if you're, what's been y'all's journey of, you know, financial education and everything like that. But until then, as always, stay wealthy, healthy,
and wise.